Konnichiwa Disc Golf fans, and welcome to Disc Channel's coverage of MA40 Final 9 lead card at the 20th Masters National Championships 2025 here in beautiful Hitachinaka City, Ibaraki Prefecture, Japan. Thank you so much to our sponsors for making both the tournament and this coverage possible. Without your help, Disc Golf in Japan just wouldn't be what it is, which is available to everybody on the internet. My name is Rowland, Innova Ambassador, and I will be talking you through all the action here on our Final 9 in the MA40 division. There are 17 players in this field who will be taking on holes 1 through 7, and then 17 and 18 in our Final 9. 3 rounds of 18 have been played to this point, and your leader through 3 rounds is Takayoshi at 8 under. Taiyo Yamaguchi is 2 strokes behind him at 6 under, and Ryoichi, Oguchi, and Hiroaki Kitahara are tied up at 5 under in 3rd place, 1 stroke behind 2nd place, Taiyo Yamaguchi. We have 9 holes to play, still a lot of space for action to happen. Let's see how it all plays out. Starting with hole number 1. Hole 1 is a par 3, 164-foot, 50-meter shot through the woods at this permanently installed basket on sandy ground. Lots of pine needle as well, creating some ground action if you come in too hot. There is both a backhand and a forehand line. However, there are a lot of trees, and so an early kick followed by a snuffed approach could result in a bogey, even though the hole is so short. Takayoshi starts off with the backhand line. Just a few centimeters off a perfect line, he will be at the edge of circle 1 for his birdie putt. Taiyo also hits early. Looks like he'll be in circle 2. Ryoichi with a forehand flex line. Gets a friendly kick off the last guardian tree into the green. He'll be in circle 1 for his birdie putt. And Hiroaki steps into a very nice hyzer, a very pure line, but unfortunately catches one of the guardian trees coming into the green. Taiyo with a flick of the wrist, displaying his touch, scooted a bit further away from the basket than I think he would have liked to be. He has about a 6 or 7 meter putt to clean up his par. Hiroaki with a safe bid. Ryoichi just low. He wanted that one. And your tournament leader lining up his birdie putt. Just chains out left. Either a bit too much hyzer or a bit too far left on that putt. As Taiyo cleans up his par. Hole 1 in this Final 9 played 0.18 strokes under par, with 24% of the field birdieing, 71 getting a par, and 6% getting a bogey. Hitachinaka Seaside Park has 27 permanently installed baskets. This wooded area you're seeing is the main 18-hole course, which is open 12 months out of the year. The last 9 holes are out in the open, in a wide open area that is very highly trafficked during the warmer seasons, and thus from around April to around November, I believe, the holes out in the open are unavailable to play. But all the holes you're seeing here in the woods are available 12 months of the year. So we hope you come out and check them out. Hole 2, par 3, 187-foot tunnel shot straight at this basket. There's a little bit of a bowl that the basket sits in. If you can get it close, that pine straw and the slight downhill right into the basket can get you scooting up into the green. There's a straight line here. There's also a risky hyzer line out to the right, but I expect that most of our players are going to be going straight at the basket. If you miss that cluster of trees to the left, there is a sort of open scoot you can get to the edge of circle 1 if you're lucky. But of course, all of our players are looking at the basket, as we see here in the bottom left of the frame, dead straight. Taiyo goes for the hyzer line. You have to get lucky coming through. He hits something late. Looks like he'll be in circle 2, but he has a clean look at the basket for his birdie. More players going for this hyzer line than I was expecting. Fantastically executed by Ryoichi. He's about 5 meters away for his birdie putt. Hiroaki with a bit of an early release, about halfway down the fairway. A little bit of trouble here. It's going to test his Anheuser forehand touch. Excellent play, but you can see how that pine straw can give the disc a little bit of giddy up if it hits the ground a bit too fast in these woods. Hiroaki should have no problem cleaning up his par, but we shall see. Taiyo with a very nice bid, right on line, but a bit low. Takayoshi with a bit of an uncomfortable forehand approach. A little bit off target, but well in circle 1 for his cleanup par attempt. Hiroaki misses wide. Ryoichi taps in his birdie. That beautiful hyzer line. I'm going to have to remember that for next year. I went for the hyzer line in the MP40 division, and I couldn't figure it out. I was going too high. Now that I know that that low line exists, I will try it out next year, maybe. As Hiroaki taps in his unfortunate bogey. Takayoshi cleans up his par. As Taiyo taps in his par. A little bit of action here on our second hole. Takayoshi is still your leader at 8 under, but Ryoichi has tied up Taiyo at 6 under, and Hiroaki has dropped a stroke down to 4 under. As we move into hole number 3. Par 3, 220 foot, 67 meter. Downhill shot towards this basket that is just on the verge of the woods out into the open. There's a forehand line available, a couple of different backhand lines available, including one that's straight down the middle. We'll see how many of our athletes elect for that middle line. Ryoichi starting us off with this direct forehand line that hits about halfway down the fairway. He should have no problem cleaning up his par as long as he gets clean into the green. The downhill shot with the sandy pine straw ground can make for some very aggressive overshoot if you're not careful here. The beautiful line there from your tournament leader. You got a little bit lucky to thread the needle there off the tee. But again, whatever gets to the basket, that's the correct line. Taiyo showing us the backhand turnover line. See how much stability this disc has. Stops nicely at the edge of circle 1. Very nicely executed. Hiroaki also looking like he was going for that turnover line, but he didn't quite get the angle right on his disc. And has hit early. He has quite a bit of work to do to clean up his par. Very nice approach into the green. He missed a putt from about that distance on hole 2. Let's see if he can make the correction here on hole 3. Very simple forehand approach from Ryoichi. Taiyo lines up his birdie attempt. Very nice putt. Hiroaki banging that putt in before the nerves get to him. Very nice. Love to see that. Ryoichi cleans up his par. And Takayoshi taps in his birdie. Beautiful drive on that hole. Showing why he is in the lead here through 3 rounds. Threading the needle on the unlikely line, but getting his birdie to bring him to 9 under. Taiyo's at 7 under, Ryoichi's at 6 under, and Hiroaki at 4 under as we move into hole number 4. Hole number 4 is a par 3, 343 foot, 74 meter. Left to right fading shot. We don't want to skip into the woods, so the forehand line can be a bit too aggressive. A dead straight shot that sort of crests the hill under the reaching pine branch, or something that's just sort of slowly turned to the right is the best shot here. We'll see what our lead card can come up with. By the way, hole 3 was 0.12 strokes over par, 18% birdies, 59% par, 18 bogey, and 6% double bogey or worse. As Takayoshi shows us the turnover backhand line, scooting onto the tee of 5, kind of startling them a bit. 74 meters is not a tremendous amount of distance. Easy to overshoot this if you're not careful. Taiyo also going for that turnover line, scoots up over the hill, well in circle 2, but he's safe. There is some out of bounds just short of that hill. There's a path that plays OB over there, but it doesn't look like any of our players so far will be bringing that into play. Ryoichi displaying great touch with the forehand in circle 1 for his birdie look. Hiroaki going for that turnover backhand line, beautifully executed. Go in. Very nice shot. Big smile on his face. Hiroaki is a very active member of the Japanese disc golf community. He runs a website called DiscGolf NAVI, which is sort of the premier information site for disc golf in Japan. Photo tours of all of the courses in Japan, information about monthly matches. Does all of it out of the goodness of his own heart, truly dedicated to the sport, and you can see he loves doing it. We have 2 missed putts. They'll be easily cleaned up for pars here as we get to Hiroaki's birdie putt from a knee, underneath the pine branch, awkward stance, just a bit low. He would have loved that birdie just as much as Ryoichi does. Good job picking up another stroke on our leader. As Taiyo cleans up his par. And Takayoshi cleans up his par. The amateur courses in Japan tend to be execution courses. And what I mean by that is there's not a tremendous amount of trickery on a lot of the fairways. It's just whether or not you can execute fairly stock shots. And if you can, you get a birdie, and if you can't, you get a par. And if you're truly unlucky, you get a bogey, or unskilled, I suppose. But it's nice because it's all scoreable for our amateur. We only have a single amateur division, MA1, in most of our tournaments. So it's nice to see courses that are accessible for everyone. Hole 5 is a par 3, 236 foot, 72 meter shot through the woods that fades left and up the hill. The path that was about halfway through the flyover is OB, so if you hit a tree early, you could be knocked down into the OB. Otherwise, you want something that goes dead straight and then moves left at the end of the shot. Hole 4 played 0.12 strokes under par, 18% birdie, 76% par, 6% bogey. As we are seeing a clinic being put on by Ryoichi, that very nice, straight, slowly fading hyzer. Straight to the base of the pin, that should be good for birdie. Takayoshi may be feeling a bit of pressure here as Ryoichi with 2 birdies on the round so far, is nipping at his heels. Great snap. It's the right shape. Does it get enough action? It sure does. Anything you can do, I can do better. Absolutely parks it. A very inside line there. Definitely not what he was going for. Happy to have gotten up onto the green and not bounced straight back into the OB, but surely a little bit disappointed that he couldn't match either the person he's tied with or the person at the top of the leaderboard. Hiroaki gets about halfway up the fairway before hitting a tree and kicking left. No real look at the basket here. Although I'd love to be proven wrong. Hiroaki safely lays up for his par. Taiyo with some nice forehand touch into the green to save his par. You can see these Mach 3 baskets. They're about 20 years old, I think, and they are showing their age. The chains are very rusted and stiff. This park sits right on the ocean, and the ocean breezes, especially in the winter months, bring a whole bunch of salty air onto the course. I'd love to see these baskets updated at some point, but if you'd ask me if I'd pay for it, well, let's just hope the park decides to take care of the course at some time in its lifetime. Through hole 5, your leader is at double digits under at 10 under. Taiyo Yamaguchi 7 under is 1 stroke behind our second place Ryoichi at 8 under. And Hiroaki is looking to make something happen in the last half of this round. Hole 6, par 3, 207 foot, 63 meter downhill shot with OB all along the right side that wraps around behind the basket. There are a couple of pure lines to the basket, but again, speed control is very important here. A bit too aggressive either on the forehand or the backhand line can scoot you straight out of bounds for an immediate par at best. Now, if this gets down to the ground quick enough, it's going to be fantastic, and it does. Ryoichi showing why he's on the lead card. By the way, hole number 5 played exactly to par. 12% birdies, 12% bogeys, and 76% pars. Let's see how hole 6 plays out. And Takayoshi with the pure backhand line. Not letting Ryoichi take a centimeter from him. I'd love to see it. Taiyo showing us the backhand flex line doesn't quite get through cleanly. Hiroaki likes that forehand line. Gets him cleanly down onto the green. He'll have a deep circle 1 putt for his birdie. There's a tree on the right side. I hope it doesn't get too deeply into his line. Taiyo with some beautiful touch into the green. Hiroaki trying to clear up his footing. See a lot of pine cones here on the green. Very nice Anheuser attempt at the birdie, but a bit too aggressive. He's put himself out again, and now has this for his par. Nothing on it. Very nice, Hiroaki. Ryoichi taps in his birdie. Takayoshi his birdie. The bag on putt. Look at that swagger. and Taiyo for his par. Hole number 6 played 0.12 strokes over par, 18% birdie, 65% par, 6% bogey, and 12% double bogey or worse. When it gets away from you, it truly does get away from you. Through 6, Takayoshi is at 11 under, Ryoichi at 9 under, Taiyo at 7 under, and Hiroaki at 4 under. We have 3 holes left to play. Hole 7, par 3, 279 foot, 89 meter, straight uphill shot out into the open. It's a very slight uphill, but it is uphill, out into the open to this well-protected temporary basket. The green is very difficult to access. A skippy hyzer line tends to be the best way to get up to it, but again, this pine straw can make ground play unpredictable if you're not careful. Out in the open, there tends to be a bit more wind effect than in the woods. Generally speaking, the wind will be blowing off the ocean to the right, so from the right to the left. But it doesn't look like there is much affecting that throw, as Ryoichi has put himself through the doorway to the green anyway. It's difficult to tell from that camera angle how close to the basket he stopped, but hopefully he's given himself a birdie look. Takayoshi getting himself through the entrance to the green, but you can see that ground play can really get a fast disc away from you if you're not careful. Taiyo going for that more hyzer line, trying to trust the ground play here. Gets on edge nicely and scoots up into circle 1. He will have a look for his birdie. Hiroaki with a dead straight shot up the hill, gets a very nice kick off of one of the guardian trees to give him an inside circle 1 look for his birdie. Well, if this is our furthest putt, then our lead card has executed well. Takayoshi with a floaty bid that hyzers in just in time. This temporary basket, the cage kind of leans in a bit at the top. So lower putts, anything that would maybe skip off the top of the cage and go in, does not. And anything that hits high on the stiff chains tends to not find basket when it falls down. So you really have to hit the chains here. As Hiroaki cleans up his nice birdie, his first birdie of the final 9. You know that feels good. Nice. Taiyo gets his birdie. And Ryoichi was very close to the pin. The closest, in fact, as we see a star frame on the lead card here, final 9. MA40. You love to see it. Hole 7 was birdied by all of our players, so not a lot of motion, but it's good to see Takayoshi really establishing himself as the top player in this tournament. Hole 7 played 0.29 strokes under par, 35% birdies, 59% par, 6% bogeys. As we move on to hole 17, par 3, 295 foot, 90 meter shot. We have OB along the right side. You can see the cones out there delineating the OB. This basket out in the open, this is typically a fairly windy hole. You can see in this video the wind is blowing from the right. From land to the ocean. We'll see how the wind is blowing for our lead card here. This is a very tricky shot. Most people end up bailing out wide left of the basket. The last thing you want is to hit that right side guardian tree and kick OB. Very common result there for people who try to wrap something either around that tree or take a left to right turning shot into the green. I love Takayoshi's stutter step run up. Yeah, and he's decided he wants nothing to do with the OB. Bails out way wide left. Happy to play for par on this hole, especially with a 2-stroke lead. Taiyo trusting the disc out to the left, hoping for some turn to the right. Doesn't quite get it, catches that guardian tree. He'll kick down. He'll be playing for par. Hiroaki, not quite enough snap on that disc. Very good line. Got through right where you need to get through if you're throwing a shot that turns into the green, but he can't quite get the shot shape right. As Taiyo lays up for his par. As does Takayoshi. A little bit more left on the bone than I think he would have liked, but his putting so far has been true. Shouldn't be an issue for him. Hiroaki content to lay up for his par. Takayoshi cleaning up nicely, knowing that barring some crazy accident on hole 18, he has locked up the Masters Championships this year. Taiyo taps in his par, as do our other players. Hole 17 played at 0.29 strokes over par, with one player, 6% birdieing it, 65% pars, 24% bogeys, and 6% double bogey or worse. Going into our final hole, your tournament leader remains Takayoshi at 12 under. Ryoichi at 10 under is 2 strokes behind him. 2 strokes behind him is Taiyo Yamaguchi at 8 under, and Hiroaki Kitahara in 4th place.
ゴルフ大学皆さんもディスクゴルフ大学はご存知ですか？ディスクゴルフ大学では毎週ですね、ディスクゴルフに関わる最新の情報を配信しているとともに、皆さんが集まって皆さんで盛り上げるコミュニティ場所を準備してます。ぜひ遊びに来てください。
興味のある方お待ちしてます。
Hole 18, our final hole, is a par 3, 262-foot, 80-meter shot. Straight over this wide open fairway onto this basket perched on the berm on the verge of the woods. A straight to hyzer shot that skips into the hill is the safest play for birdie. This is going to be short. And things can get pretty tricky from there. If you have to approach this green and you get a kick up and roll, a layup for par can quickly turn into a bogey. Ryoichi has a couple of strokes to play with in second place, so he shouldn't be too worried. Takayoshi's drive is wide. He says it's too early. It is a bit early. He is at the edge of circle 1, but there's no reason to take any risks with that putt. Taiyo also going for the hyzer line. Great distance control on that. He's about 5 meters away for his birdie look. Hiroaki with very good width on this, but not quite enough oomph as he falls short of the basket, well short in circle 2. Now Ryoichi has a decision to make here. Taiyo's in a great position for birdie, and he very wisely elects to just flip something up onto the green to tap in for his par. Love to see amateurs playing some golf. Hiroaki with a nice bid. He would have loved to have finished out his tournament with a birdie.
Nice.
As Taiyo knocks in his birdie, not quite enough to get him into second place. As Ryoichi taps in his par, securing his second place finish. Hiroaki taps in his par as your 20th Masters Championships national champion in the MA40 division, Takayoshi Suda, taps in his final putt. Hole 18 played 0.18 strokes under par with 29% birdie, 65% par, and 6% bogey. Pretty typical performance by our lead card here. Great play on this final 9, showing us all why they are where they are at the end of this tournament. This tournament is played in late February or early March every year. Anyone who is Masters age is eligible to play in either the amateur or the professional division. We hope that any of you English speakers enjoying this tournament coverage who are visiting Japan, or perhaps even live in Japan, come out and join us for this tournament next year. Thank you so much to our sponsors. These are our Founders Club right now. The Founders Club is a YouTube subscription model sponsorship that anyone can join if you are interested in providing some financial support for our coverage. Without our Founders Club, we would not be able to bring you so much Japanese disc golf. We thank everyone who has elected to become a founder so far, and do hope that those who have not decide to join us in the future. Thank you so much for joining our coverage here, the final 9 of the MA40 division. We hope you check out the other videos from the Masters Championships 2025, and if not, we see you next time at one of our other event coverages. This is Rob Rowland, Innova Ambassador, signing off for this channel.